You would think that on a street named Independence, freedom could be found. But you're going to find out, if the truth be told, that hasn't always been the case. Right here on the banks of the Mississippi here in New Orleans, Louisiana. And we're actually kind of looking upstream. Behind me, we're looking upstream. Wanted to just bring you a short addition to one of the other videos that we made, a story we called Stolen Freedom, which talks about a man named Solomon Northup who was born a free man in New York. Answered the advertisement for a musician in Washington, D.C. He was a landowner, he was a farmer, he was a musician, and he answered the advertisement for a few days' work for a musician for maybe a traveling musical troupe or something like that. He did not tell his wife where he was going because she was at the time working away from the home, and it was just a few days anyway. He figured he would go and make a little extra Christmas money and he would be back before she even knew he was gone. After all, he couldn't text her or email her. It was long before that time. So he goes to Washington, D.C. He meets these two gentlemen. They invite him to dinner, and they actually drugged him. They drugged him, and he woke up in the Williams slave pen, which is on Independence Avenue. Now, if you look at the video that we made, Stolen Freedom, we'll explain all about that. But I thought it was interesting that the Williams slave pen will be on Independence Avenue. He woke up in chains and shackles, and he told his captors that he was not a fugitive or escaped slave, as probably the people who turned him in and got paid for it had told them that he was in fact a free man. They beat him so much, so severely, that he scarcely mentioned it again, and that was in fact their goal. He was sold south, and being sold south usually meant being sold to the Louisiana area. He was sold here to these environs. He worked as an enslaved person in the Red River District, which is upstream of Louisiana, so it's up, kind of going towards Baton Rouge. He worked there, and eventually he was able to contact his family. Now, there's a couple different stories about how that happened. One story says he got news back to his family via the blackjacks, who were the enslaved sailors who traveled all around the country almost without impunity because they were working on ships which carried the commerce of the day. So they had a lot of free reign, and they were in fact the mailmen of that day. They would be able to get news back to your family if you had escaped off the Johnson plantation in Columbia, South Carolina, and made your way all the way to New York. You could go to the harbor and pass word along the eastern seaboard to eventually make it back to your family. This is one of the ways how news was transmitted between enslaved persons and their families, and this is why in a lot of cases blackjacks, the enslaved sailors, in some ports of call would be immediately jailed upon making port, so that they would in fact not carry news. Anyway, Solomon was able to get news back to his family. Again, one story is that it was via the Blackjacks. Another take on the story is that he was able actually to write and pass letters to someone. Either way, his family got word of where he was. Now imagine his wife doesn't have any idea where he is. He's just poof, disappeared like Kaiser Soze. And now she knows where he is. Well, New York at the time had put its money where its mouth was in relation to being forward-leaning about liberty and freedom for all of its people. And there was a law on the books in New York that said any African American who was freebooted, in other words, someone would just come and kidnap you, take you to some location that was a quote-unquote slave pen, claim that you were a fugitive slave, and then get money for you and be on their way. New York had a law that anyone who had fell prey to this dastardly action, New York would use whatever resources it could to, in fact, find, locate, and recover its citizen. Solomon being a citizen of New York, the governor put his money where his mouth is. He dispatched his attorney general to find Solomon, who they then knew was in the Red River district of Louisiana. They found him and they freed him. They brought him back home to his family in New York. By the time all of this had transpired, he had been a slave, Solomon had been a slave for 12 years. And that is where the Academy Award-winning film is based on 12 years a slave. So the beginning is his birth in New York, his capture in Washington, D.C., which you can find in our Truth Be Told video, Stolen Freedom. And now we can tie up another piece of that story here on the shores of the Mississippi in Louisiana. Truth be told, you can find Black history anywhere because our history is everywhere. All right, see you again soon, my friends.
If you would like to see more videos like this, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification icon to receive our new releases. If you would like to assist Truth Be Told in our mission to preserve African American history, which is American history, please share this video with your children, family, and friends. Truth Be Told, you can find Black history anywhere because our history is everywhere.